Welcome to Keep Sane. Today's episode 17. I don't know why I say today because it has nothing to do with what day of the week it is. We're going to talk a little bit about patriotism. Um, if you're, well, these are all pretty new, obviously, episode 17. If you missed the intro or if I didn't say it, I do these kind of by smaller topic. I try not to go too long. Um, I don't want to have some hour long or 2 hour long thing that I end up clipping out subjects. Try to stay fairly to the point. I guess I try to be successful at that. But with the topics of Charlottesville, with America First, with all these different groups, people about the Confederate flag, it seemed like a good time to talk about, um, I guess, general patriotism. Uh, people with the flag and the national anthem. Um, I get people like symbols. We like holding on to something as an ideology. We like, look at religion. We, I just think it's something we're hated around the world for being jackasses, being rude and arrogant. And it's just one of those things. And I think it comes down to being proud of something you had no control over. Um, you know, if you immigrated here and you have some control over it. You probably may be more proud than people who were born here. But it's one of the things that most of us were just happened to be born here at this time and whatever part of the country place you were born in. And it seems ridiculous to me to have just violent pride about what you had nothing to do with. Like my kids can't claim any pride in being born in Oregon. I can't either because, I can say I contributed to them being Oregonians, but my parents contributed to me being Oregonians. So I don't have anything to do with picking this state to live in. Not sure I would actually if I had to pick. Um, I definitely don't. I definitely don't want to go to a big city, but I definitely don't like, I guess, political hot grounds. I don't like listening to heated debates between two different ignorant people. Um, it's just one of the things. I think we should believe in community, and I'm pretty sure that's what people believe the flag is. But I mean, you look at the Olympics, you look at, like the flag or get the fuck out, sort of shit. And all I can think of is you had nothing to do with that. You didn't design it, you didn't fight for it. Who cares if your ancestors did? You haven't done shit. What have you done to make it better? What have you done to make it, enviable to be here? I mean, we're free, but we aren't the freest country. I mean, there's countries that are way more open to different people, or at least maybe they just have smaller populations of less different people. But either way, we're constantly at odds with each other. I mean, we fight within cities about high school football and basketball and, you know, state to state and college to college. And I mean, we fight over colleges that most of the students aren't from the town. I mean, think about it. You're putting your energy behind something just because of having something to get behind. I mean, back to my pack animal thing, it's like patriotism is just a larger scale of that. Fucking American, America, shit like that. It's why other people hate us. It's why I hate us. Um, uh, and I'm really happy I was born an American. I really am. I'm happy I was, born in a nonviolent area. The suburbs of Portland tend to be pretty calm. So, I'm happy with where I lucked out, I guess. I never had to worry about shelter, food, you know, born to a middle class family. It pretty lucky. Um, but where's my pride in that? I mean, I could say I was raised around that, so that's what I was taught to believe and strive for. You know, to me, anything less than hitting middle class is failure financially, and it's hard to hit middle class these days. I'm probably barely, and if it weren't for me getting remarried, probably am not. I don't know if we totally qualify as middle class. We're definitely upper lower class. Um, and we work hard and everything else. There's nothing wrong with not having a ton of extra money, but um, still, again, these are things that we didn't have control over. Her parents have done pretty well for themselves. Doesn't make her rich. I mean, it contributes to where she's at. They definitely made her go to college. Um, but again, this belief of putting all this passion behind something in a negative way, and that's the thing. If it's all positive about how to make this country better, and I know there's arguments over what that entails. Um, but just the generic, like I saw a post on Facebook if you know people being pissed that the American flag isn't in every school. I didn't read it. I just saw it, and I'm like, you know what? I don't have the room to prevent a headache at this point. I'm not going to read it. But a lot of people were like, yeah, it was pretty much about a school that doesn't have the American flag shouldn't be allowed federal money. Um, I'm not sure if they were talking what level of school. There's people who say if you don't believe in America, you shouldn't be able to get federal aid for student loans. Um, I would think being in debt would be the American dream. It seems to be the most attainable one to happen. I you know, how do you think? I guess let's throw some different things. We're gonna run through some flags of the world, and one, I bet most of us, I'm including myself, couldn't identify a lot of flags. Um, here we go. Flags around the world. Sorry. Google searching. I love Google. It is my brain. For most of us. Let's see here. So France. Most people would know France or Germany. The lovely three-colored or two-colored flags with some stripes on them. We have some duplicates here. Uh, but think about France. A lot of people seem to not like France. They're don't like America attitude and whatnot. So let's use them because why do you hate them? What did they do to you? Is there a reason you don't like them that has to do with anything in modern history? My guess would be no. I mean, I don't have any reason to hate them. So, I'm gonna hate an entire country for for something that happened prior to our, I mean, generations. I'm guessing World War II is what this all stems from. Um, okay, so don't like France for whatever reason. If you do like France, great. I mean, you're not obviously who I'm talking about, but we're gonna run through different scenarios here, and not really scenarios. We're gonna just throw a few countries out there and see what you feel. See if you can even picture the flag. Um, okay, how about Egypt? You probably thought of the pyramids, but do you know what their flag actually looks like? I wouldn't have. Um, so it's stuff like that. It's like, Germany, we all have issues with World War II, obviously, or well, some of us don't have issues, as the protests would probably have gone. Um, but I mean, if you only think of that one part of their history, yeah, it's easy. It would be easy to get mad at the flag. If you think of modern times and ignore that portion of their history, then you might think of sports cars or something different. What about the Canadian flag? What do you feel there? I mean, think about it. What do you feel when you think of Canadians? What about Brazilians? Okay, so now, other than the generics of like Cuba or Costa Rica or Norway or England, now think it's the Olympics. Think of an Olympic year. Think of a sport you like. Think of a sport we suck at. Are you going to root for another country, or are you just going to ignore it because America's not good at it? I mean, think about these things. These are the things that should matter. If you are a patriot, I guess you would root for the Americans regardless. Um, and then you're going to hope for bad luck for people you don't know who worked really hard to get there, who happen to be born somewhere else. Also, think of the hypocrisy of how many non-Americans or immigrants have been brought in to make some of these teams good. Um, it's I guess it's a way to think about it. I've never held value in like my state flag. I never cared. I did used to care, and I still have animosity about former rivals for high school because it's so ingrained. I mean, and maybe that's easier to think about. Think about your high school you went to. Think about your rival. Do you still get angry? I mean, really, do you still get angry? Because if you still get angry, think about that on a national scale. I mean, we can't get along within like right next to each other. The rivals I grew up with were across a bridge. I mean, like across a river, which was quarter mile long, or I sadly don't know the distance of it, but it was a tiny little bridge. Not like a creek, but it wasn't some giant bridge. You actually held your breath sometimes, hoping you didn't like knock your side view mirror off with the person going the other direction. But think about that. People that close, they're part of your community. They're literally neighbors, and you hate them because they're rivals in sports. That's pretty dumb. It's hard to get along and build something better when we are tearing each other down in that tiny an area. Nationally we do it state to state. Even the electoral vote, which I just really want to go away. Um, I don't think I know enough about politics to have a entire thing on it. Maybe I'll read a bunch and see if I can make a more intelligent um, way, or who knows, maybe I don't have an intelligent thing to say as far as once I start talking. It sounds good in my head. Um, but think about state to state and all this stuff. The electoral literally divides us by state. Um, and I know by community you want to be able to, uh, have your particular ideals like, or what affects you the most, like agricultural versus, industrial versus, like telecom and, standard business, um, commercial business as far as like not industrial agricultural. Man, brain's not working today. I'm going to talk anyway because we all have these days. So think about that. The whole point of state and all that was for communities to have things, to be able to set laws and rules to allow them to be the most, um, functional and everything. Well, states change. Agricultural changes. Now that we have less dependency on local supplying local, some of those local agricultural things are suffering, or climate's changed and, they can't do what they used to, crops die or something like that. And we have the city telling the country what to do and how to do it. And it's like, that doesn't make any sense to me. If you're a farmer, your life has nothing to do with what's going on in town. You're supplying it, and it contributes probably to your income, but it has nothing to do with your way of life. Daylight savings was made for farmers. The rest of us don't need it. We don't care. If anything, it's annoying to remember the clock. Although fall is nice to gain an hour. Of course, every 6 months we forget we lose that hour later. We only get it once a year. But we have to be able to talk and agree. And I think the more we put borders and boundaries on it, I mean, obviously tax-wise, we have to have the country structured because we're not merging money with Canada or Mexico. So, I mean, I get there's reasons we do things. My problem is it creating conflict. We're not creating, agreements and resolutions. I mean, and I don't know I don't know what the fixes are. Do we need to have, you know, people find each other and m- move around the country to better match wants, I guess? Because we all, I mean, for the most part, most of us have what we need. There are homeless, there are people who need shelter, who need food, and we're not helping them because we're fighting each other and we're throwing away food by the droves at fast food because it wasn't eaten in 7 minutes or whatever that number is. Um, you know, these seem like some of these problems seem pretty easy to fix if we could just talk them out. And again, it we're not getting anywhere if all we do is argue. The teeter-totter of, Republican and Democrat is, you could call it balance over the long haul, but I call it standing in place. If you stand in place, you end up losing. You're going backwards as everybody else. Any other countries that are moving forward are getting better than you, us, you know, because we're treading water. We teeter back and forth. People laugh at us, because we have, ridiculous reality shows that are dumber than anything, showing how stupid we are as a country. And, we can't compromise. We teach kids compromise. We say a good marriage is compromise, but not to run our country. Fuck compromise, our way or else. Oh, yeah, that's gonna get a receptive response. Okay, well, I guess I don't want or else, so whatever you want that I don't agree with, it doesn't work. Right now, I think Republicans are keep trying to undo Obamacare, and Democrats, if even if Republicans undo some of it, when if the next time Democrats back in, they're going to try to re-implement. I mean, the teeter-totter doesn't work. The question is, looking at other countries, is the topic of socialized medicine, has it benefited the government and the country, or has it been a total clusterfuck of financial and procedural ruination of the country? I mean, look at the countries we rank better than us in medicine or just in, fiscally. Do they run socialized medicine? If the answer is yes, they can make it better medicine, better money. It seems like a no-brainer to move that way. If, on the other hand, it's destroying the country and there's enough evidence at different places that there is, then I say we talk about how to undo socialized medicine and figure out what they're doing with their privatization of the offering to make it fair, actually competitive price, so there's no internal, price fixing or anything like that, to where everybody, you know, is doing better in that regard. I mean, that's the whole thing. The entire purpose of government is for the better of the people. If if they can't talk to do that, then they are pointless. Um, you know, what's hindering it? Is it, you know, really get to the meat of it and but being proud to be an American and what you think it is, I mean, okay, tell us what you think you're proud about. What did you contribute to? Why do you not want to listen to Canada talk about socialized medicine? We invite people in and then we berate them and try to belittle what they think to prove our political point of whatever your label is for your politics, and you're looking for the argument to prove you right. You're not looking for what's better. You're looking for what's right. And the problem is we all lose if people can't look for what's right for all of us. Think about that. If you get to win, okay, let's run this stupid scenario. So it's a last man standing wins. Essentially, what we're doing right now is last man standing wins. Imagine 5 people, and the last person who doesn't die wins. Are you willing to kill the other 4 to win? It's extremely exaggerated, but it's not unrelated to patriotism and having the flag be the almighty and just I mean, for fuck's sake, everybody jokes that we really only worship money. It's why we put God on it so we can pretend like they worship God. Hmm. So, same topic. We're gonna go national anthem. In NFL, kneeling, and I think other sports are starting to do stuff like this. Jerry Jones from the Cowboys. At least I read the headline. I didn't read the rest of it, or I skimmed the rest of it. I didn't read if there was more to it, like if there's anything edited to make it sound more, um, or else, I guess I'll use that term a bunch right now. Where if you sit or kneel, you're off the team. Now I'm curious. I've seen Jerry Jones hire Greg Hardy onto his roster and whatnot. Some of these more questionable red flag players who have checkered pasts and checkered presents, because most of them ended up right back in trouble. Um, you know, let's say Ezekiel Elliott, Dax Prescott, and Des Bryant all kneel. Are you really kicking them off? Really? Three of your best players? What if your entire team kneeled? Which I actually would love to see, just by my owners saying I can't do it. A contract and franchise tags are pretty much indentured servitude to me because you lack freedom of choice for the player. Um, or sorry, did I say contract? Pretty much I meant rookie, the draft, your rookie deal, the ability to franchise tag players who don't want to be on your team. I mean, to me, you know, there's not all money's guaranteed. I can cut you and save money, but, if I want a pay raise because I'm the best guy on your team and I signed a 3-year deal or I'm on my rookie deal and all of a sudden I get hurt in my final, I'm fucked. So everything's in favor of the owner. So I'd love to see the entire Cowboys kneel in a big fuck you to Jerry Jones. They won't. They all say they love him and great. He must be a way better person than he presents externally. He seems like a blowhard who only cares about himself. Understanding serves. His best coach and him couldn't get along because each wanted to be the reason they won so many Super Bowls. Um, and I don't doubt it. Jerry Jones very much seems like he likes to be the reason, and I consider that bad leadership. Um, he's more successful. He's got a football team. He gets to do stuff I'd love to do. So, he's winning. And if it's competition between him and I, so I could call him a dirtbag. He shouldn't fucking care. He'd laugh and be like, "Who's this idiot? I don't care. He can say whatever he wants." Poor bastard. Whatever whatever the case may be, my opinion really shouldn't matter to him. Um, I mean, he just got into the Hall of Fame, so obviously he's well liked by his peers. Um, so what the hell do I know? But from an outsider who loves football and hates dirtbags, I mean, he keeps bringing people on his roster saying they care about character, but then I'm sorry, you brought Greg Hardy on. That guy just, from everything I can tell, does not fit anything that would be integrity of character. Um, won't say too much because I don't want that guy chasing me down. It's also why you do anonymity on this sort of stuff. Um, and definitely not trying to incite violence. But with patriotism said, you have the Confederate flag, which I've talked about already, and you have other people, religious groups, um, whether it be small Christian groups, Jewish groups, big Christian groups, whatever, that all have their idea what's best for the country. They don't want to they want to fight for what they want and not what other people want. And I'm generalizing because that's what we get to see. We get to see the general, not the one-on-one, which is a person being intelligent. People are always stupid, and I believe that because it's never proven wrong from what I've seen. Um, Not worldly, so what I've seen doesn't mean it's awesome, but people smarter than I say it as well, so I inclined to believe them when it's reinforced by stuff I see all the time. And by people, it doesn't mean have to be that many people. 10 can be people. 5 can be people. Shoot, 3 can be people. Um, if it's some of the people I know. Um, but do we fight? Do we allow internally? Do we allow, which we're already doing, do we allow states to, or cities to kind of section off and be outside so they can have their little fake Eden and then realize it sucks and don't support them federally or state with state money? Like make some new little states that they get to go have their race utopia where nobody else is allowed in and they crumble. I mean, it'd be kind of cool to watch them implode. Um, you know, like because they're not going to get what they want. Hate groups are not going to get what they want. Religious groups aren't going to get what they want because I really believe more people don't believe in their religion than do on an increasing, at least on a year by year. I think there's more non-believers being developed than believers because of the hate. No one wants to buy into hate. Um, you know, I think people inherently want to be part of a group, but they also want to be part of a group that does good. I mean, I don't know. As I get older, as I try to get less violent, I tend to get more relaxed and I get happier. There's a lot to be said for not looking for contest with people. As a male, you bristle up a lot about nothing. You see another guy, you get competitive for no reason. You know, being around too many guys, you all get competitive and start, you know, competing, whether it's story or, you know, just who or, people who name drop and, have to, well, my city's better than your city. People in LA and New York love this shit. Um, from what I can tell, I don't really care if LA's awesome. I don't care if New York's awesome. I hate large groups and traffic. I'm not going to either. I mean, I might visit, and I've been through at least LA. I've never been to New York, but I have no interest in going to New York because maybe some of the suburbs or something, but I have no interest in going and being shoulder to shoulder and bumping into people all over the place. And, the I don't care about majesty of places that have been in movies. I really don't. I put my importance into my home and my family, and I could, in my community being anything that hits my view within city, state, country, world, anything that I can add a tiny bit of positivity to or support to. Like I said, for education, Khan Academy. I don't have a lot of money, but when I try to give them a little bit here and there, just because my kids do use it, and I think it's an absolute necessity. Um, Anything that promotes education that's free, and I do have more means than a lot of people, which is a sad statement based on my means, but I feel like it's my place to help those get that information out because I'm amazed at how many people don't know what Khan Academy is. Um, but again, these are things that would go look at it. Are you going to hate it because it's KHAN, you know, a, and the guy is not white who developed it? Smart dude, great guy, not white. If that impacts you, I mean, slap yourself across the face, please, because wake up. Um, I don't know. I see so many people I know who hate racism, but then they get really racist like about nationalism and their patriotism. And to me, it's the same thing. It's hate fueled by something that has to do with nothing to do with character. Um, I get trusting everybody can lead to getting stabbed in the back or blown up or stuff like that, but if you can't work with people, then it inevitably crumbles. I mean, look at every great civilization prior. They got too greedy, militarily, financially. They got greedy and they got complacent and they imploded on themselves. I mean, really think, I mean, do you really want the US to implode? Because if we get too complacent or too inner fighting, we're going to not realize that someone else has taken over our country, you know, without us being aware. Too many foreign people or not too many foreign governments buying enough real estate in the U.S. because we're broke, and they end up owning all the land. Oh, they can't take ownership or whatever else the things they say they can't do. Um, but guess what? You don't have to take ownership. All you have to do is offer people a better option, and people jump ship all the time. You really think a financial superpower comes in and doesn't start getting people to believe their way because it actually works better? And people aren't going to be like, oh, well, fuck this place. You know, you see it with sports teams. People jump ship on their sports team all the time. They move states, they move away from where they were raised because this place sucks. That place looks better. If we really had a better understanding of the world and ability to switch nationalities, I bet you it would happen more. I mean, okay, I guess I'm probably done being an idiot. Just I don't the flag, the Pledge of Allegiance, the national anthem, these are all things. Have pride in your community, but remember, not everybody has doesn't put the same meaning behind it. The American flag for, black people might be a symbol of slavery because the flag in its iteration, not current number of stars, but forefathers who had slaves, you know, put that together. Maybe they want it changed. Has anybody ever asked? Native Americans, we massacred them and put them on little spots and pretty much called them their own sovereign nations unless we want to put an oil pipe through it, or right near it and not give them any say. We're still very mean and egocentric and just dicks. So, I just ask people to think. I ask people to really evaluate if you were on the outside looking in, or if you had America do to you what America does, would you still be okay with it? Or would you want America to crumble? Do you really want the entire world rooting against us because of the way we handle stuff? My answer is no. Because eventually they'll win. If it's the world versus you, either we all lose or just us or just we lose. I think historically that seems to be fairly proven with wars and civilization. Um, and I don't want to feel like the evil country. I don't want to be the reason. Oh, we're great. Everything's great here. You guys all suck, and we're gonna make you. I don't know, something else stupid to say, but why not? Why not check your patriotism for a little bit? Why not think about what it means? And here's the thing: I get people fight for the idea of America, and I'm not trying to belittle their memory or what they do or their sacrifice. I'm really not. I'm just asking you to really think about how we act with this world because we try to teach compassion to our kids. We try to teach them to help people in need. Well, guess what? A lot of the world's in need. A lot of the US is in need, which we also forget. There's a lot of people who need. Education is fucked. Your health services are great and shitty at the same time. There's so many things. We're financially fucked. Most people don't have hope. Once hope starts dying, things get worse. And obviously things are getting worse quicker. Um, Overpopulation, serious issue, These things we have to talk about. We can't force behavior. Forced behavior means war. And war is a losing thing. And I'm a person who used to fully believe in violence solving stuff, and it just doesn't. It just pushes it off or deflects the anger somewhere else. It doesn't fix it. Yes, you can fix a racist by shooting them, but guess what? Their kid now has a dad who was killed by someone for hate, and they now hate that person, whether they're a person of, a minority or just a white person or whatever. You're just continuing the hate. You're just deferring it. Um, and again, I work through this stuff too. I still have really stupid ideas, and thoughts that I try to read more. I try to read wider variety. You talk to me, I don't represent every white guy. I don't. I don't even represent Oregonians. I don't represent. I really can't talk. Um, you know, people who are almost 40. I don't represent any of those things. I have my own mind. I drive enough people who live right next to me or in my house crazy with the way I think. So don't ask me just as much as I'm not going to ask any one person and assume that that's what people from Texas think or that's what people from Utah think. I'm going to talk to a bunch of people. It's got to be an open-ended, non-constricted conversation. This isn't fill in the blank. I'm only going to give you three answers. This is let's really listen to people talk and let's really brainstorm this thing into something good, something positive. Let's embrace immigration. That's taxes. If we really have jobs in a growing economy where we do need people trained, and I mean, if other people are educating better, maybe we need to import smarter people, But really think about it. I mean, maybe we can get some deals moving other places. Maybe what we want to do is somewhere else. You close your mind, you close your world off. I mean, I'm trying to reopen mine because it was closed for a while. Not about racism and stuff, but I mean, my understanding of a different viewpoint kind of was, um, and I don't know, just different timing. People have needs and need groups and support, and if the only support they get is from people we find evil, well, guess what? We created that, didn't we? So, you know, hopefully this gave you something to think about, and hopefully you're not angry right now. That wasn't my goal. My goal is just to make you think about it and try to figure out a way how to stop the reaction of anger and violence. So, hope you have a good day.